can't keep doing the same thing over and over and expect a different result. That's called insanity. Change ain't coming. Tell the people change is here. We taking what is ours. We ain't never scared. We gonna fight for our rights. Ain't no backing out. The Bahamas loving how we got this real blackout. Taking our country back, not living so hopeless. Vote for Lincoln Bain, our Bohemian Moses. A real leader coming with the vision and the plans. Let's take a stand, every Bohemian woman, child, and man. The people can't be crying and hurting and jobless. Don't be fooled, y'all know the parties that cause this. We fighting for our rights and our natural resources. The people can't be crying and hurting and jobless. Don't be fooled, y'all know the parties that cause this. Vote for COI for the change in the office. We fighting for our rights for our natural resources. Yeah. Stand up and make a change. Yeah. For Bohemians everywhere. We gonna make a change. Change is here. We gotta quit with tradition and let's go forward with a mission to build a better Bahamas for all the children that live in. They sell a country and land and think we're not good enough, but we're making a stand. Throw up a fist with a hand. Stand united as one nation under the sun. We the people fighting for the new Bahamas. We bring the facts, but they wanna bring the drama. They can go and put a sign on every corner, but the cry of the people will be louder. Stand up and make a change for Bohemians everywhere. We gonna make a change. Change for Bohemians everywhere. We gonna make a change. Change is here.
Good night, good night, good night, Bahamas. Thank you for joining us this evening. Good night, everyone. You know what to do when you get in. Share, share, share. Click like, share the link. I want to thank everyone for joining us here. I know that we said that we were on vacation, but we had to come out to share some information with you and to bring you up to light on what is going on. Okay, we had a lot of people calling us in, asking what is going on with our party, what we're doing. I just want everyone to know that we are working diligently on putting our organization together. We have a few things coming up that we are going to keep persons updated on. We're still putting information in the group. We're still sharing our information. We also want you to go and visit our website. We're still updating the website, Coalition of Independence, www.coalitionofindependence.com. Please visit the website. We have some important information that we would like to update you on. So I'm going to be bringing Lincoln on shortly. I would like to again thank everyone who supported the Coalition of Independence, who stood with us, who gave everything they had, who believed in us, who believed in everything that we were and are still fighting for. We just want you to know that we will continue being the gatekeeper for our people in this country. The fight does not stop or end with us because elections are done. We are still here holding our leaders accountable. Okay? So thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here. I just want to send a shout out to Donnell Mitchell, Godfrey McAlpine Jr. Thank you for joining us. Kevin Williams, thank you for being here. Brunel Ferguson, thank you for joining. Please share the link, share it in your WhatsApp group, share it on your Facebook, invite your friends to watch. We have very important information that we would like to share with you. Okay? Thank you very much. I'll bring Lincoln on.
Thank you, Charlotte, and welcome to everybody who is tuning in from all around the world. Thank you so much for being here. Um, you know what to do. Let's share the feed so that we could get the message out to all of our people who need to know what's happening in this country. So we just wanted to make sure and remind everybody that we are the real opposition in this country. We're not going anywhere. And so we promised to take a 2 week break off. We promised to take 2 weeks off, catch ourselves, rejuvenate, etc. But there's so much happening right now that we can't. We must continue to advise the government. We must continue to let the Bahamian people know what's going on. And we cannot let you be bamboozled by anything that's going on. Where the government is doing right, we're going to say so. Where they're doing wrong, we're going to say so. And this is our agenda, and this is our plan for the next 5 years. There's a lot of things that we can advise the government on that we are going to in this forum, and we hope that they actually listen to the Bahamian people who have good suggestions. You know, I spoke to a I spoke to one of, I'll call them the PRP cronies today, and you know we were having a good conversation. He's a pretty good guy, and we were having a good conversation today. And he's actually in the sand business, and he has a sand license that minister was blocking, you know, for some time. But now, of course, his party's in power, so he's going to get it back. And you know, he said, Lincoln, everything that you've been saying is true. You know, with Bahamians, they just don't understand it. You know, but he told me, you know, he's getting his license back, and you know, they're hoping to do some stuff. And my thing is, to me and someone else who was there while he was talking, you know, this is exactly what Brave told me that he would do. And we're now seeing this kind of stuff that is about to happen in this country, where they're going to grab a few of their political insiders. You could also call them croonies. And I'm not saying that in a negative way about this guy. He's a really good guy. But this individual is going to benefit, and their foreign business partner is going to benefit, while the Bahamians are not going to be able to benefit. And so there's a couple more just like them in different areas who are going to benefit individually. And this is just what I told you that Philip Brave Davis told me he would do. He would let, you know, a few insiders benefit and let them provide the jobs. And this is exactly what we don't need, you know. And, you know, I said to him, I won't call his name, but I said to him, I said, if we were the government right now, today, we would have already been in a situation that would have blown the minds of all Bahamians. We would have been in a situation where we would have already been benefiting from our natural resources. You know, and I started to show him what could have really been done. I couldn't say a lot of stuff before this, but I started to show him some things. Ladies and gentlemen, the only way out of this scenario that we are in, where Moody's has downgraded us, it's difficult for us to get loans right now as a country, and there's no financial hope on the rising. The only way out is through benefiting from our natural resources. And he admitted it. He said, yeah, Lincoln, that's the only way out. But they don't know how to do it. They don't know how. They don't know how. The gentleman talked to me about himself getting a license, you know, to, well, an agreement to sell sand to some international companies, you know, Home Depot and Lowe's, and that, you know, they in principle they're ready to go with him. And I told him, I said, listen, you all haven't studied this industry in depth. I said, you cannot get an agreement with Lowe's and Home Depot on a 1-year license. That's not possible. They're not going to commit to you on a 1-year license, and they don't know what's going to happen the next year. They don't know what's going to happen after election. They're not going to do that. And so I said, you have to study the industry in depth, which is what I have done. I was able to show him stuff that I've studied. Ladies and gentlemen, we need real solutions in this country. You know, he said, you know, when he first walked up to us, we were having, going to have lunch. He said, no, we need to make you an ambassador or something. I'm not looking for a job. I had one job in my life. I'm not interested in jobs. I'm interested in the entire Bahamian populace, all of us adults, benefiting directly from our natural resources. Nothing more and nothing less. And so, no, I'm not interested in the job in any way. I'm not interested in any of that stuff. I am interested in us Bahamians benefiting. And I was so interested, when he told me that his partner in the US used to call him and say, "You listening to Lincoln? Lincoln knows his industry, he knows what's going on. You need to listen to Lincoln." And so that was an interesting conversation today with that good gentleman. But there's more to come. Everything that I've told you is going to happen has already begun happening with Moody's and what they have now done and the difficulty that we're going to have moving forward. I don't know how long this administration is going to last without any ideas. Now, they've already started reaching out to millionaires from around the world to come and invest, excuse me, in the country. They've already started reaching out to them to come and invest in the country in, little small investment, little resorts, hotels, the same, more of the same. I've spoken to some of them. And so it's more of the same. We're not going to benefit from someone coming and building a hotel on one of our family islands. And we don't own it. They own it. They make the money and take it out of the country and we get jobs. This is the model that we can't sustain. Yes, there was a meeting in Florida for Brave Davis where they said that they had a $5,000 plate of dinner. It wasn't $5,000 plate, but it was 49 millionaires that were there. Some of them regular millionaires, not billionaires who want to build a resort like Atlantis, etc., but well-to-do people that wanted to try to help him get in and help Minister be gone. And so, yeah, there were 49 persons there. And these kind of people want to come in and do these little small, boutique stuff. Again, a small stuff, man. A small. We need a real change in this country. We need a shift that's going to stop us from going the direction of Haiti or Jamaica or other countries around us. We need real innovation. Innovation is the difference between a leader and a follower. That is the difference. And that is what we're looking for in this government. We are not, and we know you're still in your honeymoon phase, so we expect you to be able to celebrate and have your little fun and celebrate your victory. But at the same time, our country is drowning. Our country is suffering from rising crime. We're drowning in debt. Many people don't know how they're going to get food tomorrow. And so we don't have much of a time for honeymoon. Enjoy your honeymoon, but know that you got to get to work. And so we're not interested in nice appointments. I see people celebrating, oh, this is a good appointment, that's a good appointment. Oh, we got a minister of environment and natural resources. That's cute. But what we need is results. We don't need pomp and pageantry. We don't need that. I don't care to be talking about what you're wearing at a swearing in. I care to make sure that our Bahamians can afford to buy clothing, can afford to buy food. This is where I'm going with this. And so, if that makes sense to you, then you continue on this journey. If it doesn't, then you go watch what they're wearing and you go clap and applaud over that. We're not impressed by speeches at the UN. Yes, we know that Philip Brave Davis can read. We know that. He was reading from a teleprompter. That's why he was turning left to right. Some people were impressed with the speech. It was a good speech written by Mr. Raming. But we know that you can go and someone can pass you a speech and you can read. What we want now is results. We are in a desperate situation, and this is serious, Bahamas. I'm sorry to have to say this like this, but we're in a serious situation, and we cannot take this lightly. Moody's saw this serious enough to strike us the day after election. We are now being flooded with illegal immigrants in this country. What are we going to do? We need results, not nice appointments, pomp and pageantry. We need results, and that's it. And so we are going to have to be here to make sure that we keep the government's foot to the fire. And so that is what we're all about. And so we have to talk about this immigration situation, and this caused us to really jump out of our vacation period because this is really serious. And I was concerned with the response that I saw to it because to me the response is inadequate. And I know that they watch my lives. So I'm hoping that the Minister of Immigration is watching this, the Minister of National Security is watching this, The Deputy Prime Minister is watching this and the Prime Minister is watching this because we need real solutions. And so we're going to talk about some of that today, and then we're going to answer your questions when we finish. And so the solution, some of the solutions are actually in the law. Did you know that the solution for when these foreigners land illegally is right in the law? Who should pay for it is right in the law. What should happen is right in the law. But guess what? They don't ever do it because they are brought in to, they are brought here by the people who are benefiting from them coming here, the same oligarchs that we've been having a problem with. And if you were to do a proper investigation, you're going to see something that may blow your mind. I'm going to read the law to you today. Are you ready for that? And it's going to show you what should really happen. And they are not following this. They've not been following the law. And that's the problem in most of what we have. We have the laws in place to do whatever needs to be done. We don't need many new laws. I've said this over and over. The law says what should happen when these boats land. And if they follow the law, then we wouldn't have the problems that we've been having. So we're going to go into this. All right? This is a major problem. And this is a big money business. There's some people benefiting from these illegal immigrants landing. There's some people benefiting seriously from the landing of these illegal immigrants, Bahamas. This is a big, big business. These illegal immigrants pay up to $5,000 reportedly to land in this country. Up to $5,000. You may say where they getting the money from, but that's what they're paying. They save their money and they land in this country legally. I want you to look at the people in that video. These people, every head is thousands of dollars. Every single head that you're looking at right now is thousands of dollars. This is a big money business. That is why they allow it to happen. Not because it can't be dealt with, not because you cannot manage it. You have to follow the money. You have to follow and see who is benefiting from this. Every single one of them paid to be on that boat. Thousands of dollars to be on that boat. And so to figure out what's really going on, you need to follow the money. But if you follow the money, there are some powerful people that are going to be affected by it. You see, when we decide to pander to certain people because we want to win elections, and I have no problem with my Haitian brothers and sisters, I love them. And so I want to start this by saying that I love all humanity. Don't forget, I was the person who grabbed a plane full of medical supplies and food, etc., and flew over to Haiti with medical supplies and food after the earthquake. Spent time there after that, helping out. I'm not against persons coming here for any reasons, but you need to come here legally. But we're going to address the solutions in a minute. And so this is not against any race, but I will start by telling you my concern is for the people of the Bahamas. I am concerned about the Bahamians in Inagua more than I'm concerned with any illegal immigrants in Inagua. That is my concern. While the Deputy Prime Minister, the Minister of Immigration, the Minister of National Security, and the Minister of Health left Nassau and went down there to Inagua, the question is, did you meet with the residents of Inagua like you met with these illegal immigrants? Did you talk to them and comfort them? You see, I am tired of Bahamians being second-class citizens in this country. I don't have a problem being a lone voice crying in the wilderness. Because this is where the change needs to be. Were it me landing in Inagua, were it me, and that would not have been my strategy, but were it me landing in Inagua, I would have had a meeting with the locals on the island. There's only 900 of them. Now, they are overpopulated. They are outnumbered right now because there are more foreigners, illegal immigrants, than regular residents of Inagua. I would have met with my people and said, we know this is a situation. We have the solutions. We're going to get on it right away. We're going to make sure you are safe. We're going to send extra police and defense force officers down here to make sure that you are safe and to make sure that you can sleep at night. That when you open your door, like one of them who was interviewed by the news said, you don't have to worry that you're seeing these foreigners who can just run off and there's a thousand of them and a couple dozen law enforcement officers that can be overrun. I would have comforted them. But I'm going to tell you the solutions later. You see, the problem comes in when we stop looking out for Bahamians and start looking out for foreigners. This is when the problem comes in. I want you to play this video of Brave Davis, not just for any political reason, but I want to show you when our mindset shift. Play the video of Brave Davis.
I don't call you all, no, you all are not Haitians, Bahamians. You are Bahamian, yes. And your origin is Haitian. Yes. It's good to be here. I now know why this well-kept secret is kept secret by Honorable Fred Mitchell. He was telling me about these Saturday evenings, and now I know why. So Elliot, yes, you'll see me here again, yes, even louder. And I trust I won't need his invitation. But let me just say that I have always been a part of this community. And there's no accident I know how to do all the dancing. Because I always be and share with you. Because you are me and I am with you always. And those who knew me from the past and know me now, they always knew that I was there and I always been there for you. I don't call you all, no, you all are not Haitians, Bahamians. You are Bahamian, and your origin is Haitian. Mine too, and many of us. I keep telling a lot of us, back in 1853, right, the majority of Bahamians here were noted. The blacks were called Creole. There were more of them than any other. And so we all are one. And let's always remember that. That's right. And so I want you all to continue to enjoy yourselves. I want you to remember too, I need you all to stay safe. The virus is no joke. And I want you all to continue to wear your mask and wash your hands and stay socially just so we can be together later. And so I say to all of you, please enjoy the rest of the night. Stay safe. Have a happy time.
Not 10 minutes gone. Not 10 minutes gone.
Well, he long now.
I wondered when he was going to say that. Election time is coming. Vote PLP. So as we say good night, one more time. PLP. PD. Amen. Good night. Thank you. Thank you, Elliot.
We got one country, and that's what I'm concerned about. We only have one country. What disturbs me most about this, I'm going to get to more stuff in a minute, but what disturbs me most about this is that every single election cycle, they use the Bahamians of Haitian descent. They use them. They trick them and they use them. Brave Davis said in that speech, I was always there for you and I will always be there for you. You all know that is what he said. Was he there for them when the man standing behind him, who spoke after him, was dragging them out of their villages into the bus? Was pulling the babies out of their hands? How fast did the Haitian community forget about that? that those same people, the UN had to talk about how they were dealt with. The babies were separated from their parents. They were pulling them out of their hands. There was video of that. Come here. Get in this bus. Now, so easily, just a few years later, you are forgotten. And guess what? Next election, it could be, oh, F&M, F&M, F&M. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us as a people to wise up. And so it disturbs me when I see that same Fred Mitchell, that same Philip Davis, and the rest of their team who treated the Haitian people and Haitians, Bahamians of Haitian descent, so badly. Now, all of a sudden, they say, hey, we love you. Come vote for us because we love you. And people just fell for it. It is sickening. But I digress and I continue on because we got to get to the meat of this. All right? We are now seeing an influx, and I talked about this in my lives before the election, that when the murder of the president happened, I told them to send persons to the border. When the earthquake happened, I told them send defense force, etc., to the border, make sure that we are watching it, make sure there are boats out there, create a seawall, not a literal seawall, this is what we're going to do, with a proper radar system that can react quickly. I told them it has to happen because of the earthquake. I know what happened during the last earthquake. I was there. There were people fleeing. Now, there was a lot of aid given to Haiti. They even had a new We Are the World song that was brought out for them. But there was a lot of aid. Billions of dollars in aid went to them. This time, there's almost nothing. There's very little. And so they're fleeing and leaving, which is what is expected. And so you see what's happening in the United States, and you see what is happening here in the Bahamas. When I promoted this live today, I said that people were calling me from all over, were calling me and saying, Lincoln, you know, how do you feel about all of these boats that were found with all of these illegal immigrants? How do you feel about it? What are we going to do about it? Are you concerned about that? And my thing to them was, no, I'm not concerned about the boats that they caught. I'm concerned about the boats that they didn't catch. Not that we know that there are specific boats that they didn't catch, but obviously, if you caught a couple boats with up to 1,000 persons on it, there were boats that slipped through. How many was there? I'm afraid that there may have and could have been thousands of people that slipped through. The boat with 400 people that capsized, imagine if that didn't capsize. Imagine if that boat with the 400 people didn't capsize. It seems to me like they were heading for Abaco. They were already up past Anagua, heading up past by the Exuma Keys and that area. It seems like they were headed to Abaco. And so what if that boat didn't capsize? What if there are many other boats that didn't capsize? How could they have gotten that far up the Bahama Change with no one? Now, they say we have many islands and many keys, but that's an excuse because there's only one way to get past. There's a passage you have to go past. You have to come straight past Inagua, or you have to go around the Turks and Caicos, and we can have a boat there waiting. They can stop this influx if they wanted to. My thing is, many of these persons don't migrate right next door to the Dominican Republic. Why? They don't, migrate right next door to Cuba, right? Let's jump and skip right there. They're coming to us. And so we have to figure out why, what's going on, what's happening with that. And we have to arrest that problem. Before I get to that, the biggest problem that I have is the way we handle it. I know we're in a honeymoon government, and you got to let these fellas take their time to celebrate, although we're going to suffer in the meantime. The biggest problem that I'm having with this is that why of all of these senior government officials just left New Providence when we have so many major issues to address in this nation? They promised us that they would be ready from day one, but we're seeing that that is not the case. They're still going around searching, digging, and trying to see what they could knock together. So while you had some senior officials in New York, that's the Prime Minister, Fred Mitchell, the MP for Pinewood, um, Mr. Mazzarota. These guys and others are in New York, which is understandable. The Prime Minister should have been there. And then you have a situation where some illegal immigrants landed in Niagara, and other senior officials went flying down there. You had uh, the Deputy Prime Minister, although we've not heard who was in charge since the Prime Minister left. Normally they gazette that and we know who was in charge, because it doesn't have to be the Deputy Prime Minister. He leaves a minister in charge. The Deputy Prime Minister went down there, along with the Minister of National Security, the Minister of Health, and the Minister of Immigration. 4 senior government officials went down there to address some illegal immigrants. This is a problem for me as it relates to precedents. So while the Prime Minister is out doing his job, going to the UN, etc., he took, some people with him. That's a custom. So Mazzarota is over there. He should be representing Pinewood, because Pinewood is flooded right now. That made the news tonight if you watched it. But he's over there enjoying New York, while other senior officials went down to Inagua to address illegal immigrants, but not the Bahamians. And so I watched the way they were addressed and the way they were dealt with, and it caused some concern for me, because the Deputy Prime Minister is the Minister of Tourism and Aviation and Investments, 3 portfolios. Tourism, aviation, and investments. We are in the middle of a crisis where we need ideas for tourism, we need solutions for tourism, aviation, and especially investments. And so while you should be trying to get this stuff going, you've already had a lot of time since the election. The election was on the 16th. You've had enough time since the election for us to now get to the point. It's 11 days. So where we should now starting to see some stuff in place and start to see some stuff moving. But you're in Haiti in Inagua, dealing with illegal immigrants from Haiti. Play this video.
Their family don't know their whereabouts, where they're going to make a pause. So their family's in the stress, they don't know exactly whereabouts they're living in the Okay, see, we can pause it here. We have Silas with this, Silas.
We have already communicated with the Haitian embassy in Bahamas. You would have provided all of your names to the immigration officers here. Your family may be able to contact your foreign affairs office in Haiti.
Pour nous, à contacter le ministère des Affaires étrangères, conseiller haïtien, Haïti.
And they will.
Okay.
We are working to move you as quickly as we possibly can. But we cannot tell you exactly when at the moment. But it's important to us that you return to Haiti as soon as possible. So all all ready and willing to go?
Est-ce que nous tous d'accord? Est-ce que nous tous faisons pour retourner back à Haïti?
Le problème pays mettez-nous dehors.
It is
Pas de
important
travail, pas de rien.
understand.
Pas de manger, pas de manger, pas de boire.
It is important you understand legally.
As the Deputy Prime Minister said,
Député,
Don't play that one yet. I'll continue right from there. All right. Listen, that was the deputy prime minister and probably acting prime minister of the country flying down to Inagua to address some illegal immigrants who have broken the law and come into the country illegally. Of course, they have a situation going on, so it's understandable from a humanitarian standpoint. However, what did he say in his address to them that couldn't have been said by immigration officials, even senior immigration officials? Tell me one word that he said that we needed the deputy prime minister, acting prime minister most likely, and the minister of minister of tourism, aviation, and investments to go down there and say, while we should be operating from day one. What did he say to them? It seems more like a photo op. And this is the kind of government we don't need to go back to. Photo op governments. Immigration officers are very capable of saying everything that he said. We have a country that we need to get together. We need to plan this out. This is what I have a problem with. Now you degrade our country by having the acting prime minister talking to these illegal immigrants and asking them if they are willing and ready to go. Have you ever dealt with the police and they ask you if you are willing and ready to go? You committed a crime, you broke the law, and the police said, are you willing and ready to go to Central Police Station? Are you willing and ready? You see, we can't play with this. This is a serious matter that we're going to have to address and deal with. And we need persons with the courage to say what needs to be said. So while he's down there, we have a Moody's downgrade that we have to deal with. A serious Moody's downgrade. It's going to be difficult for us to get loans. Our economy is in a tailspin. We don't know our head from our tail right now as a country, where we're going to go financially. And you are going down there to talk to illegal immigrants. We don't need this kind of government. We need real solutions. So I'm saying to the deputy prime minister, the minister of tourism, etc. right now, we need solutions, not photo ops. We're not interested in that. We need solutions now. We need real solutions. Bahamians owning hotels. We need to benefit from our natural resources and invest it in tourism. We need to invest in our aviation industry. We need to provide the airlift, not pray that other countries have it. We need to get into the business. We need to invest our natural resources in our country. If you're not doing that, then it's going to be a long, hard 5 years for you and for the Bahamian people. Just wanted to make sure that it was said. Next, we had the Minister of Health down there. The Minister of Health then spoke to these persons, and he also is doing this in the middle of a COVID crisis. The Minister of Health jumped in a plane to go down to Nagua to address the illegal immigrants. Play that video, please.
as the Deputy Prime Minister said,
député, Premier ministre, se parler là.
you have landed in the Bahamas in one of our most southern islands.
Nous débarquer dans îles qui sud, dans tout pays Bahamas.
From this island,
Donc, dis-le ça.
We can see la torte.
Nous pouvons voir la tortue. Ça fait tout près la tortue.
We are now in a situation important for us to ensure that the public health situation of the Bahamas is kept.
Nous arrivons dans une situation qu'on a. Si santé publique là, et puis santé citoyenne Bahamas là.
Yes. You are from Haiti.
C'est mon Haïti nous est.
Where certain diseases
Écoutez, quelques maladies,
do not exist in the Bahamas
maladies qui commettent Haïti pas exister Bahamas.
because of your country.
À la cause des pays janvier,
You are exposed to more pathogens
nous avons exposé de plusieurs des cas de maladies
than exist in our
qui
country.
existaient au terre Bahamas.
It is important for you to follow the instruction of our healthcare professionals
L'important pour nous écouter conseil médical assistant qui se souvient.
to protect you
Pour protéger nous,
and to protect us.
pour protéger nous.
We are now going to move you from this situation to a better place.
Il y a
So now he is talking to them about pathogens and that kind of stuff. The Minister of Health. When we have a COVID crisis, a serious COVID crisis going on right now, that's the Minister of Health flew on a plane. If you can tell me one word that he said that couldn't have been said by officials, other officials, then I digress. But we have a country that we need to save. I saw someone that said while he was talking that the PLP has already dealt with PMH. In what world did this happen? PMH is in the same state. They have not dealt with it. They've done nothing. Walking through a hospital is not dealing with the issues of the hospital. The same minister came out and said, well, we're in a serious crisis because we need money to deal with the health crisis and to deal with health in this country. Then why are you not out there trying to put some solutions together to get the money to do it instead of down there doing public press statements and photo ops? You said that we're in a crisis, that we need some serious money in order to get this done, Mr. Minister of Health. And so what we need is solutions from you and your team, putting your team together to get this done. If you don't want to use the natural resources to do it, then go find some way to do it. It won't work, but go try. And so this is where we are with this. It shows that you don't have those solutions because you would have been busy working on it and you would have said, listen, immigration officers, I need y'all to make sure this is covered. Health officials, go down there, deal with that, and make sure that this, that, and that is covered. But that's not happening. And so if you say we need money and we're in a serious crisis, we want to see you handling that. The money you spent going down to Nagua could have been saved to spend on something else. I know it's small money. I just thought I should say that though. The Minister of National Security also went down there. We're in a crime crisis right now. We had 3 murders in one day. Murders are happening regularly. Other crimes are happening regularly. Crime is to the point where it's almost out of control. And the Minister of National Security, instead of meeting with the relevant officials to see how we could arrest crime right now and how we could deal with the situation that's going on, he is down there for a photo op. They also assigned the chief magistrate and another magistrate to go down there and deal with the situation, to go down there and put these people, have them before the courts, plead guilty or not guilty, and then send them back to deal with them properly. There's one thing they didn't think of. One thing. If these guys plead not guilty, if any of them pleads not guilty, then they have to stay until you try them. But you don't have to go through this if you use the law. If any of them, or if all 960 of them pleads not guilty, You have to try them properly, which means the defense force officers who caught them, the immigration officers who caught them, the people who were there have to come and testify before the magistrate, and all this trial stuff has to happen. And so we had better pray that they don't plead not guilty, because then we'll have another situation on our hands. And so I'll leave that there. I'm going to come back with solutions on how we should really deal with that. The Minister of Immigration was there, and he should have been. There's no problem with him being there. That's his portfolio. If he wants to be there, he can be there. I have no problem with that. Keith Bell did an interview today, and in that interview, he seemed to be sufficiently lost. He's saying that the only way we're going to deal with this is if America comes and give us the help with their planes and ships and whatever we need to get these people out of the back to their country. If we can get a Bahamas airplane to be rerouted to assist with that, and if we can get the Haitian government to assist by accepting them back. And so he's basically saying that if these three things don't happen, we're stuck. And so they're dependent, instead of having a plan from day one to deal with this, they're hoping that the American government can come and assist with this. There's over 200 governments in the world. If you need assistance, you're telling me that we're stuck if the American government says no? This is a humanitarian issue. You mean to tell me that you can't find a way to get other airlines, other countries that own airlines to come in and assist? To make sure this happens and happens right away? Your mind is blocked. And if America doesn't come and help you get these people back home, we're stuck. This is how you govern from day one. This is not how you govern from day one. You should have been expecting this. As I said before the elections, we should have expected this from the earthquake happened. There were people leaving the country when the president got killed. I spoke about it. People had already started fleeing. We're just starting to catch people. Do you think all those people went to America through Central America and got to America and none of them tried to come to the Bahamas? Do you think that these are the first illegal immigrants that tried to get here and got here? It is highly unlikely that all those illegal immigrants got to America through Central America and walked, and others didn't get here already and are in this country right now on a boat. I warned you that you should prepare for this, but you're busy trying to pander and win elections. And so what we need are real solutions. Those are the solutions, he said, and if any of those things don't work out, he's saying that we're stuck with the over 1,000 that we have here now. His big solution also was that he needs the fishermen to watch out, not the defense boss, not buying boats and equipment for immigration officers, not getting our defense force out there to do their jobs and guard our borders. He said, fishermen, y'all out there, y'all please help. Y'all tell us if y'all see anything. A fisherman can see a boat, but they don't know if the boat is legal or not. That ain't their job. It's your job. And yes, all Bahamians need to get involved and be a part of this, and if you see something, say something. But we wanted to hear solutions from you, Mr. Keith Bell. We didn't hear that. And so this is a serious crisis that we're in. And so he said that by this week they wanted to send all of them back home, but it won't happen if those three things he said don't work out. We should not be ifing and butting. We should have been ready and prepared to do this. We should have been ready. And so I think we should talk about a couple little quick solutions, because these are not long-term solutions, because the Deputy Prime Minister says he is hoping that in the long term, that we could build a facility in Inagua. Well, we have illegal immigrants flooding us now. What are you going to do now while you're preparing to build for the long term? You have a situation now where the locals are outnumbered. You probably have about 1,800 Defense Force officers in total. You have 1,000 illegal immigrants. Yeah, they might not have guns, but you got 1,000 illegal immigrants and about 1,800 of Defense Force officers. How many illegal immigrants got in and we don't know about it? How many more are on the way? When they start hearing, oh, my family member got in, let's get on this boat, let's try. How many more are on the way? More are coming. What is your plan and your solution? Nice, we got a good Minister of Immigration. Nice, we got a good Minister of National Security. Hallelujah. Now, what is your solution? What is your plan? That is the question. And this is why we're here tonight. In the meantime, while we're waiting for this long-term solution, Mr. Deputy Prime Minister, we could build a temporary solution. In no time, in a matter of days, we could knock together temporary wooden housing. Temporary wooden housing that we could have housed them in. In fact, you could let them help build it. But temporary wooden housing could have been built, surrounded by barbed wire fencing, double fencing, that'll help contain the person in those situations, so that they're not living out there in the elements. They're not a threat to the other people who are living on the islands. Listen, I've seen these same people, a few of them, build entire houses in the Mud and Pigeon Piece overnight. Entire houses overnight. Temporary situation could have been built. Bring in temporary sanitation situations, temporary showering situations could have been done. These are inexpensive solutions if you're going to keep them here that long, because you don't seem to have a solution to send them home. And so if this is the case, and we pray that they don't plead not guilty, because if they do, we're in trouble, then why can't we just say, okay, we're going to get the wood, we're going to get the supplies, and let's do some building and get this done, so that at least they're not a threat to our people. Build the fencing around them, double fencing, double barbed wire fencing, or triple barbed wire fencing. Jump over one, you got to jump over next one, jump over next one in order to get out. All right? Why couldn't this have been done? It could be done very quickly and very easily. We need solutions, man. We need solutions. And so this is a solution I'm giving to you. This wooden housing. All right? Some of them would plead guilty. And as a part of their punishment, they can be forced to help build. It's a cost to us to help build these facilities. They have skills. They could be a sentence to help build these facilities, these temporary facilities, as you are dealing with them, to make sure that when the rest come, because more are coming, there's a facility there to put them in on a temporary basis until the permanent situation is built with concrete. Why can't this be done? We have to think our way out of this. And so let them be involved in that. And they're doing it because now we don't have to involve Bahamians coming in and mixing with them, because like the minister said, we don't know what diseases they have. We don't know what pathogens they have. Let them be able to build, do this kind of stuff. And there'll be temporary facilities. So when the next 500 come, you have a place to put them temporarily, lock them up in there, process them. You build a courtroom too, process them, get them back on the ship or the plane, and have them go back home. Is this doable? Of course it is. But we need people with vision, and that's why I'm doing this now. And hopefully they're going to do it and then pretend that they didn't hear it from me and that they can get the glory from it. We don't care about the glory. We care about our Bahamian people. I'm concerned about my people in the Nagua who voted for this government. That's what I'm concerned about. All of my people in the Nagua. I should have said many of whom voted for this government. But did they meet with y'all? No, you're a second-class citizen. Why would they? And so, if the temporary wooden quarters wouldn't work, because they use them in German prisoner of war camps and other prisoner of war camps, they've done stuff like this. So it is secure. So if you're worrying about if they're going to break out, etc., it'll be difficult for them. and that's why you have the barbed wire. And then you have guards who can now monitor what's going on. All right. And so these are solutions. You can also, if you're worried about the humanitarian situation with not having enough bathrooms, etc., to cause a cholera situation, possibly like you see in Haiti, to cause other diseases being spread because people can't bathe, they gotta defecate, in God knows where. I'm sorry for the church that has to deal with this. Bring a defense force boat to guard the situation, and another big defense force boat that you can house persons in. That boat is going to be empty with no crew, and except guards, etc. And you can house some people in certain situations. Use it for the bathroom. Some of these boats are meant to have a lot of persons living on them at one time. You can use the ship itself if you're worried about the UN and what they're going to think, to be able to have it docked there and have persons when they need to use the bathroom, you escort them onto the ship, etc. If you can't get enough temporary toilets in on time. All right. So these are things that can be done. You don't want to leave them to run rampant on the ships, but you can have them as living quarters temporarily, or you can not have them as living quarters, but have them use the bathroom facilities on the ships that are good to go. All right. We need vision in this country. As we said to you, we were ready from day one for a major hurricane, for immigration, for a downgrade, and to get this country back up and running ASAP. And so our plans were ready. But of course, we chose something different. But in the meantime, we're going to advise them from here as the real opposition. And so this is some of the things that we could have done. Again, sentence them. Now, you want to deal with this thing on the long term. Some of these fellas, as they come in, you sentence them to hard labor. As they come in, you sentence them because they're coming in illegally. You sentence them, and you have them assist with building the permanent facility. You have them assist. They're causing our country millions of dollars. You can pay them a small stipend because their expenses have to be paid for. We shouldn't have to just be paying for food and this kind of stuff. Let them work, get their pay. When you finish, you deport them. As a part of what is going on, we need real solutions. It may reduce the amount of persons who come, but definitely it will leave us with a situation where we are prepared and ready to go. All right? And so we could do that. And so their living expenses, etc., would be covered, but they worked for it. You understand? Ladies and gentlemen, these people are coming here, and they're coming here for a better life. And so the last thing I wanted to suggest to you was that we talked in our plans about farming on our southern islands. And so if these people are coming, a part of their sentence can be to build up our farming industry. You can put them to farm. Build up our southern islands. You want to come to our country? No one is farming there now, so you're not anyone else. We need to be able to feed ourselves. So if you want to come here, you're going to be sentenced to work. And you're going to be sentenced to build up this country. If you want to come here and break the law and come here illegally, put us at risk for disease, be a burden to our country, we are going to sentence you to begin to farm in our country, to start a farming industry on our southern islands. And you're going to be sentenced to do this for a certain period of time, and then you go home. You're going to get a small stipend to be able to survive, to exist, etc. And then you go home. So if you come in here to work. You're not going to come here and cause us. We are already in a desperate situation. We need money for our health situation. The Minister of Health said, we need money to fight crime. We need money to get out of our economic situation. Now you are coming here to cause us more strain? No, you're going to work. Since you come in, come work. Let's see how many continue to come after that. Ladies and gentlemen, we need real solutions in this country. And we need strong leadership in this country. We need a new Bahamas. We need new vision. We are not against Haitians or any other illegals because there are other immigrants coming here legally and buying all of our beachfront property, buying all of our property, buying all of our buildings, and we're still being left with nothing. Everyone is benefiting from our country besides us. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for you to wake up. It's time for the Bahamas to be about Bahamians. It's time for Bahamians who love this country to run this country. It's time for Bahamians who are going to put you first. My name is Lincoln Bain. I'm a born-bred Bahamian. I am a Auckland's Crooked Island Bain, a Hasty Times. Auckland's Crooked Island Hasty Times. I am a Cat Island Poitier. I am a Roll Boat from Exuma. I am a Bahamian first. And whenever I go to a Bahamian island, I want to see my Bahamians first. I want to address their affairs and their concerns before I address the affairs and concerns of anyone else. Bahamas, this is no time for a honeymoon for our government. They cried that the country was in a desperate situation. This is no time for honeymoons. This is time to get to work. And so we're not interested in fluffy positions. I don't care what you are wearing or what anyone who's wearing to your swearing in. I care that our country is in a desperate situation. And we need strong men and women with ideas and vision to take this country to the next level. We will continue to address situations going on in this country on a weekly basis. We will come to you. We will address situations. We will be the real opposition in this country to let you know what is going on. The FNM is left weak, and they have persons who have no credibility to speak on anything in this country. None of the 7 have any credibility to speak on any issue in this country. Michael Pintard, you sat there while this country was raped and robbed by Dr. Hubert Minnis, your boss, the one you pandered to, your yes-sir boss, and you did nothing. You participated. Shannon Cartwright, I love you, my friend, but you sat there and said nothing while this country was raped and robbed by your fellow members of the Breakfast Club, the Life of Key crew that fund you so you can have money to give to people in St. Barnabas so they could say, oh, he's so nice. No, they are preparing him to be their puppet in the near future. I don't know where Iram Lewis got his voice from all of a sudden, that he wants to be leader in this country. Iram Lewis, you sat down and you were over the disaster recovery, which disaster was almost as bad as the initial disaster. The people did not get what belonged to them, and you did not fight for the people. There was a scandal over the domes. They said 6.5 million was spent on 250 domes. Only 40 domes showed up. And then we found out that Sabas company was really the ones that spent the money on the domes. So where does money the government said that they spent on the domes? Where did the $6.5 million go? Iram, you need to take several seats because it's time for a new Bahamas. For all of you FNM MPs who won your seat, you have no credibility. The Bahamian people are not interested in anything that you have to say. You need to account for the Dorian money, for the VAT money, for the contracts that went out, for these promotions that went out last minute. We are not interested in anything that you have to say. And to the PLP government, we are still here, ready and willing to work with you to make sure that the Bahamians benefit. We cannot They cannot suffer through another 5 years of no vision and no hope and no future. And that is why we're going to come forward with our solutions on a weekly basis to inform them if you are trying to get one over on them, and to give real solutions to what is happening. And you can take them and you can run with them. You don't even have to give us credit. But Bahamians are suffering, and we can't continue to suffer like this anymore. Bahamas, stay tuned. The honeymoon will be over very soon. And then you're going to have to decide more of the same or something different. A new day, a new day. Bahamas, when you wake up tomorrow, it's going to be a new day. If you broke, you're going to still be broke. If you OBEC, you're going to still OBEC. A new day is empty. You need real change and real vision. And we are looking forward to praising, commending this government for anything that they do to benefit all Bahamians. And so, like I said, we're not interested in jumping up and down and clapping because you did a Ministry of Environment and Natural Resources, adding that portfolio. We're interested in clapping when Bahamians benefit directly from their natural resources, but that's not going to be done because you are going to give an additional sound license next week, Brave Davis, to one of your cronies. I know the name. And it's for your crony to benefit, but the country won't. Bahamas, we got some time to spread the word, to wake people up. We're going to be putting out our videos. We're going to be putting out more information. They told you it was selling dreams, but they would never, ever challenge the information. And some people fell for it. Oh, people couldn't get $100,000. When I spoke to that person who's in the industry today, they said, boy, Lincoln, by now, all Bahamians would have been able to get but at least $50,000. I said, yeah, but that ain't what y'all was saying on the campaign trail. Y'all was telling them it was selling dreams and it's impossible. We got to win election. Bahamas, it's time. So I'm going to open this. To questions briefly. So I'm going to do probably about 15 minutes if you all want to. But it's time for question and answer. You know how we do it on immigration or whatever. If you have any questions, so if we're talking about immigration today, whatever questions you have, we're willing to take your questions at this time. All right. So if someone else can help me, one of the team can help me answer these questions, that will help so much. Bahamas, wake up. Remember, by next week or just a week after that, we're going to be allowing you to come in and become members of our organization. You're going to be able to come in and sign up and be official paid members. And so we're going to have elections and all that kind of stuff very soon. And you're going to be able to take part in our convention, etc. But if you really believe in this, if you're one of those hundreds or thousands of persons telling us to keep going, you got to be a part of it. Step forward and make sure that we're able to keep going. All right, so questions. You wait for the questions.
Rocky Arnett is
I'm
asking.
sorry, I can't go to questions yet. I should have actually dealt with this. I told you I should have read the law, and I actually didn't. I skipped over that, trying to just get to this. But I want to actually put the law up to show you what the solution is in the law. I'm sorry about that. There's a solution in the law for all of this. And let me tell you what the law says about this. All right? Someone says, what are the law broken? So we're going to go to the Immigration Act, chapter 25 to 27. We're going to go to the Immigration Act. So if you could pull that up for them. The law is already clear as it relates to these situations. And if we follow the rules, then we don't have a problem. We don't have to be talking about how much it's going to cost and this kind of stuff. Let me read the law for you. This is what they never do because they don't want you to see the law because they don't want to follow the law. So, removal of persons refused leave to land. And so, Where leave to land is refused to any person under Section 22, an immigration officer may, subject to Sections 2 of this section, give directions. So this is talking about if they told you, because to come into the Bahamas, you have to ask to be able to land, and you have to be given permission to land. And so all would have to happen is you have a defense force boat out there who refuses landing for anyone, and then they can skip all of this process that they're going through with the courts, etc. They can skip that because the law covers it. And so you make sure you have someone in place to say, listen, you are refused landing into this country. If you go on a plane or you go on a boat from Grand Bahama to Miami, and when you land, immigration say you can't stay. You are not given leave to land in Miami. Go home. That plane has to then, or that boat has to put you back on there and send you back. All right. So even though you landed, they can say you don't have leave to land. Go home. But of course, it's how you argue this before the courts, how this was argued, because now what they're doing is saying, oh, if you lock up someone for immigration, you have to get them before the courts. But no, if they'd followed this properly, there's a way to send them back home without going through all of that process, and they could have already been back on a boat. But watch this. Let's read this. All right? Because they're not going to read. They're going to have press conference and all these photo ops and all that. They're not going to read the law to you. Let's go. So where you don't have leave to land. Section 8. Let me read it. Where leave to land is refused to any person under Section 22, an immigration officer may. The officer, not even the police or a judge or any official, the immigration officer may, subject to subsection 2 of this section, give directions to the master of the ship or commander of the aircraft in which such person arrived in the Bahamas, requiring him to remove the person from the Bahamas in that ship or aircraft. Those boats come here, but they're not floating on their own. There's a commander or captain of that ship who is paid handsomely. There's someone who is benefiting from that ship. Every head on that ship is paying about $5,000 to make that journey for another life. Let me do some math for you. The last ship, 400 persons landed. You saw what happened when they caught the persons in the Nago with $2 million, right? Recently, $2 million. All right? 400 persons landed. Times 5,000, that's what? $2 million. So there is a strong chance that money that they found landing in Inagua had something to do with this influx that we are seeing now. Do the math yourself. And so those persons who are doing these operations are making big money. That's one ship. $2 million. No mailboat doing one trek, making that kind of money. The Captain Noxie going over to Exuma, they ain't gonna make that. $2 million one trip, one way. No boat going from Nassau to Freeport is making that. So these fellas are making big money, huge money. Make them pay. Find out who is behind it. But I'm sure if you find out who is behind it, it's going to link to some politicians, as it always has. It's going to link to some oligarchs and some people who pay for elections. And so while you're crying out about the Haitians and what they're doing, it's the Bahamians who are involved with this that is causing a problem for our country. So, one, you make the person in charge of the ship pay. Next, to the owners or agents of such ship or aircraft, that's the owners, not just the captain, to the owners or agents of such ship or aircraft, require them to remove such persons from the Bahamas in any ship or craft specified in the directions, being a ship or craft which they are owners or agent. So any ship you own, any airplane you own, you park them on that, not just the one they came in, any ship. So you might say, oh, that ship they came in, that ain't seaworthy no more, whatever. You go get a ship. and you put them under. This is what the law says, you know. They was prepared for this. You are responsible for these people that you brought here illegally. You go get a ship and you put them on it. Next, C. To such owners or agents, requiring them to make arrangements for the removal of such person from the Bahamas in any ship or aircraft bound for a country specified in the directions being either, etc. So, in other words, you brought them here, you responsible, you find any ship and you pay them, or we'll put them on our defense for a ship, but you will pay us. Did you read it in the law for yourselves? This doesn't happen because of who is involved with the skullduggery that is happening in this country. That is why this is not happening. Because of the criminals who are involved. When you actually find out who's making the money and you make them pay, they get stopped. Because it ain't worth it. But right now, because of who is behind it, it is worth it. Y'all screen shot this and you send this out. Make sure Bahamians know the law already covers this. We don't need any new law for this. It's already covered. And so they're allowed to send them out to a country of which such a person is a national, or in which he embarked for the Bahamas. So send them whatever country you came from to get here, you go back there. Or wherever you're from, we send you back there. Or country which there is reason to believe that such persons will be admitted. Any country where we believe they can keep them. Bahamas, are you all listening? This is the law. This is the Immigration Act. This is the Immigration Act. And so this is the law. We don't need any additional laws. And you can remove persons who have landed here. Section 26 talks about removal of persons landing unlawfully in the Bahamas. And so if you read that for yourselves, you're going to see where if you've landed here unlawfully, you can be removed. This is the law. It's the law. So there's nothing else that we have to add towards this. The only problem we have is corruption. That's why they're not enforcing this law. Bahamas, we need change. It even goes down to section 27 that talks about the financial responsibility for persons landing illegally. Let me read it for you. Section 27. In any case where a person lands from a ship or aircraft in contravention of any of the foregoing provisions of this part of this act, then, without prejudice to any other provision of this act, the local representative of such ship or aircraft shall be financially responsible for any public charges reasonably incurred in respect of such person's maintenance, including any detention, if you got to build some temporary or permanent housing, while in the Bahamas, and his subsequent repatriation, removal, or deportation. Charge the person who is the captain of the ship. Let him tell you who the owners are. Let him tell you who is behind it and responsible. And guess what? Problem solved. They ain't gonna do that no more. No captain will want to be the one sailing that ship, because he responsible. And then he have to say who owned the ship, one, or who is the one who is benefiting from this voyage? Who was the one who was making that $2 million? Ladies and gentlemen, we don't have an immigration problem in this country. We have a corruption problem in this country. And many Bahamians decided to vote for corruption again. Ladies and gentlemen, screenshot this, send this to Philip Brave Davis, send this to Mr. Mitchell, send this to Keith Bell, let them know that this is what needs to be done. So whoever those persons are benefiting, it needs to stop because we're in the middle of a crisis. Yeah, you made some good money over these years. You made some good money. All right, congratulations. But moving forward, our country is in crisis and we can't handle this right now. We need you all to stop. Or we have to confiscate everything you own that is the proceeds of crime. Ladies and gentlemen, we need change. And we need change now. Now I can open up for questions. Is there anyone who has questions? This is your time.
Yes. Deborah Rumming asks, why are they even given a trial when they come into the country illegally?
There was a suit that Fred Smith, Fred and Luby and those, they've been doing certain things. But Fred Smith did a lawsuit to say that his client in a specific situation that sued, a couple of them, they were not given a fair trial before the magistrate. They were just locked up and sent out of the country without seeing if they were even actually Bahamians. And so there was a specific situation in that case. But the law is already specific to this, and no one challenged it after he did. They left it alone, and now they have the practice that they have to try everyone. But that is not the case. All right, there's certain things that can be done in law so that you don't have to do it. But you have people in place who don't know the laws or who are so corrupt they want this to continue to happen, so they want to keep this going. Go ahead.
Symphony Knowles asks, are we Bahamians ready for an uprising? Do we have sufficient resources to protect us?
You can never be ready for an uprising when you only have about 3,000 or so police officers and 1,800 defense force officers. And the Bahamians are not lawfully allowed to carry guns for their protection, only for hunting. And so you could never be prepared for an uprising. Do we suspect that one is going to happen? You should always be ready for any circumstance. But this is the situation that we're in. So are we prepared? No, we're not. Should we be? Yes, we should. So I'll add to this. A lot of the people are coming in this influx on boats now because they used to come on airplanes. A lot of the Haitian nationals that came on airplanes and they stayed. And so now that it's locked down, you're going to see a lot of people coming on the ship because planes aren't allowed to come from Haiti to the Bahamas. Planes came in every single day, all day from Haiti. A lot of Bahamians don't realize that. But now that is shut off, ministers shut that off using COVID as the reason. So now they're going to pile up on those ships and they're going to come in. And this is the problem. And so again, I don't want to make it seem like we are attacking the Haiti or the Haitians or whatever. We love all of our fellow men, and I put my money where my mouth is as it relates to that. So don't judge the words that I'm saying because I'm concerned about my Bahamian people, which includes Bahamians of Haitian descent. But understand that we're in the middle of a crisis, and if tens of thousands of them end up flooding our country, as is happening in America right now, what are you going to do? We have to take this seriously. We can't go down there asking them if they are ready and willing to go home. If you do that again, Deputy Prime Minister, I'm going to ask you if you're ready and willing to go home. Not in our country. Man up and defend the Bahamian people. Man up and defend this country. Because if you're not willing to do so, you need to step aside. Next question.
Kevin Moss asks, why do the Defense Force sink the vessels they are found on?
I think he meant why don't Defense Force sink the vessels that they are found on. Yes, they can confiscate the vessels, but some of those vessels sink on their own. And some of these vessels are almost disposable. They're going to get another vessel and come back over. But that's something that should be done. These vessels should be confiscated. If they're in good situation, we should take them and give them to Bahamians to do some business. Or, if it's not in a good state, sink them. Let them become reefs for fish. After a while, they're going to run out of boats.
Andrew Boaz, what happens to the money?
Well, the money was confiscated as proceeds of crime. But this country is so corrupt where it is very possible that they could get, so we don't know what's going to happen with that money. But the money should be confiscated as proceeds of crime. That's what they were arrested for, suspected of being the proceeds of crime. Now, if they can't link them with a crime or show where they committed the crime, they're going to get that money back. So if they can't, for example, link them to this illegal landing situation or link them to some drugs or whatever, they're going to have to let them go and give the money back. Next question.
Dalton Blackheart, how would persons become members on the family violence?
On the family violence, persons are able to become members. We're gonna have a link where you can pay, whether it's your $5 a month or your $60 a year, and you're gonna be able to become members by going to the website. And so we've not put that up. Just wait for us to announce that we put it up and we're ready to go, and then you'll be good to go. But on any island, on any country, we have Bahamians in America, in Canada, in England, all over the world, in Abu Dhabi, in Dubai, wherever you are and you're Bahamian, you can sign up for the Coalition of Independence. Next question.
Sean McCarty, Lincoln, why do they find
They should. It is against the law to hire an illegal immigrant. But of course, again, it's corruption because the people who are bringing them in are bringing them in for slave labor. I want to say this to you. What is happening to the Haitians should not be happening to humans. It is a humanitarian issue. They're bringing these people in to slave for them and living in poor conditions that they should not be living in. Very bad conditions. And this has to change. Have them living like animals. And this has to change. Moving forward, you are going. If you're bringing persons in to work for you or you want them to work for you, you need to house them. When Nasuvians went to Exuma to help build the Four Seasons resort, they had to build housing for them. They couldn't let them live in shanty towns. They had to build housing for them. When Haitians go to Miami, to New York, to Quebec, Canada, to France, they live in houses. What's happening here doesn't happen anywhere. We need to change that. And that is our major concern. Next question.
so are our forces in a month and a half?
Someone says our armed force has about 4,800, so let's say 5,000 members. And so in a month, they could outnumber our armed force. Quicker than a month, they could. If a bunch of ships come to the Bahamas right now at the same time, if they blitz us, what are you going to do? If we are blitzed, where a bunch of ships come at the same time, some decoy set up to get caught while others get away, what are you going to do? What is your plan, Philip Brave Davis? What's the plan? If you want a plan, Bahamas, we have plans that are both humane and it won't cost us what these people are causing us by having to spend all this money. Go ahead.
Shani asks, why can't the Defense Force send a fleet to block any further boats?
Why can't the Defense Force send a fleet to block any further boats? They can, but they won't. It's called corruption. It's corruption. They can send a fleet that has a boat constantly assigned to the. They only can come in from one direction. We've shown you in one of my lives where you can put up a wall between Inagua, Cuba, and Turks and Caicos. All right, and that can be covered. That is not a big space. You have to come through that. And so you can put up 2 or 3 boats that can cover that entire area. They have a long-range radar. But having boats that you will have to go past is even better. And you can also have another boat on the other side of Turks and Caicos so that if they come around Turks and Caicos, they're going to run into that boat. It can happen. Remember when the lockdown was happening during COVID and they said they were locking down Grand Bahama and they said they were sending Defense Force boats to surround Grand Bahama? I hope you all don't forget that. They were sending Defense Force boats to surround Grand Bahama so no boats leave. And they did that. And I said when I went live that if they could do that, they could do that for Inagua and make sure that no boats come in. They choose not to do it. John, wake up. Next question.
Isaac Gibson asks, why can't we ask Her Majesty's Navy Fleet for help?
Why can't we ask Her Majesty's Navy Fleet for help? You can ask them for help. They're not entitled to give us help. We are a sovereign nation. Although people think that the Queen still rules us, she does not. She is just a titular head, and so she's not going to be obligated to help us. Were I in this situation, I would have immediately asked for help from both the U.S. and from the British. Immediately, I'd have even asked help from our neighbors like Jamaica, etc., to be able to come in to make sure our borders are locked down during this period. And so, it can be done. We just need proper leaders. Next question.
Chrissy Brown asks, why can't we use a few of them to tell the real story and get to the source of this matter? Time to break up this crime ring. It is organized crime.
So it's time to break up this crime ring and talk to those who are here. Listen, they are so willing to talk, they will tell you their story. All right? And the crime ring does not start with the illegal immigrants coming here. The crime ring starts with the politicians and the oligarchs and these big money people who are making all this money. All right? That's where the crime ring starts. And so, as long as you all keep voting for criminals, you're going to continue to have these kinds of situations. And then you're going to see them go down there and say, hey, y'all please behave. We would like to send y'all back immediately. Remember, y'all came here illegally. That's what we want to do. Are y'all willing and ready to go? Please. You made our country look weak.
Weak.
You made us look weak. You're begging these fellas to asking them if they are willing and ready. Don't you ever let that happen again, Chester Cooper, or I will come to see you. This is our country. You're not begging anyone. I cannot go to Haiti and land illegally. I cannot go to America and land illegally. What are you doing? Chester, if you go to Haiti right now and land illegally, you jump on a boat and go there and land illegally and see what will happen to you. I want you to try it. See what will happen to you. We need strong leaders, man. We need real leaders. But of course, we know that you're pandering. And so after you got the support, you got to wait before you start dropping the hammer on them. It's just like with certain criminals. I experienced this in the police force. The politicians would come in, get criminals working for them, get them on the streets and get them on their side. Then when you lock up that criminal, the politicians say, hey, you got to let that one out. The politicians say, boy, y'all need to ease up off these criminal fellas. Because you pandered to them. You had them as a part of you had them as political pawns. And so now you can't touch them. They know too much. You owe them. It's a problem in this country. Next question.
Devin Boaz, what is the coalition plan to get citizens who are residents of other countries to be a part of the voting process? Currently, you have to come to register.
Simple. We're going to have online registrations with blockchain, etc. We're going to have online registrations, and you're going to be able to vote online in the New Bahamas. That is a must. Estonia, everyone voted online. They had voting online. America, in certain states and counties, they had online voting. It's very doable. And so I'm going to end it there for now. I know you have many more questions. We're going to continue with these. You're going to see more of other people going to be participating in all of this. But we have a country to save. Again, I'm not against any nation of people. I don't feel that the Haitians are a bigger threat than the foreigners who come here legally and own our entire economy and own all of our land and are pushing us in the middle of our island and are buying up all of our buildings. Because when they buy it up, we can't get it back. It's raising the price of everything, and our children are not going to be able to afford to buy land on this island. And so it's not just the illegal immigrants, the legal ones too. We need a Bahamas for Bahamians. It's your job to wake up your family, friends, and neighbors. We have some time. I think it's going to be at least 2 to 3 years before this government actually crumbles. I don't think they're going to make it to the 5 years. It's going to be 2 to 3 years. I'm not praying for that. I'm praying for them to make it, to be prosperous. I'm praying for that. I'm willing to help with advice. I don't want no position. I no sellout. I don't want to be no senator. I don't want to be no ambassador. I'm not getting caught up in that corrupt tanglement. I'm not getting tangled up. I'm going to be here to stand up and fight for Bahamians. Mix me up. And so, if that's what you want, then that's what you're going to get. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be here fighting for you. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for being here. But you got to keep spreading the word. All right. Didn't you see after election, all of a sudden you see the article where Palm Beach was getting all this Aragonite in that was going to be trained up to Alabama? Remember I was telling you about that? Remember, they don't question the details I say. They just tell you, oh, he's selling dreams. Don't listen to him. Oh, he's selling dreams. Oh, he's a crook. Oh, he this, he that. But they can't question not a word that I've said to you. But now you see it before your very eyes. Now all of a sudden, the election is gone. What's the first newspaper article they put about BPL? Oh, BPL can't go solar because we don't have the space to do the solar panels. Nonsense. No. PLP in power. FNM still in power. And they want to keep our electricity bill high. They want to keep making money off of the oil. So they're lying to you, telling you it can't be done. You can put solar panels on the ocean, on the water. The waters on the southern part of this island are not rough. We've already investigated all of that. On the southern part of this island, South Beach, etc. You ever been on South Beach? That's just water. We talked about putting it on the lake, Lake Killarney. That's just water, not land. You can even take the solar panels, put them in Andres where you have a lot of space, and pipe, wire the electricity over to New Providence. They're making excuses. What's really happening, y'all? This natural resources thing, I don't believe that we're going to benefit from it. They formed the Natural Resources Committee, and that was to BS the Bahamian people into thinking that they were interested or they were going to do something. Look what happened to the committee. Nothing. They did absolutely nothing. 5 years they stalled. Do you see? Kick the can down the road. They stalled for 5 years. Instead of those champions of natural resources who are on the committee, like Reese Chipman, like Vaughn Mill, etc., standing up and telling the people they're stalling, they're doing this skullduggery, that skullduggery. Nothing is going to come out of this. They just sat quiet. And they stalled for 5 years. Guess what they do now? Let's just add a portfolio of natural resources since they're talking about it so much, and let's stall for another 5 years while not letting the Bahamians benefit. Then guess what happens? That's 10 years that they got to make more and more billions of dollars while you got nothing. And they kicked the can down the road another 10 years. Bahamas, wake up. Talk to your family. Talk to your friends. Don't be fooled by these little positions, these little appointments, etc. Don't be fooled by these people now sucking up and saying, oh, look at this good minister that they put here. Oh, look, he got rid of the having to pay for the travel visa. It's not a solution. In fact, I am disgusted that persons who are not vaccinated have to get a PCR test in certain situations. The persons who are vaccinated have to get an antigen test for traveling. A person with the vaccine still can transmit, catch the disease, and be hospitalized, etc., and can die. The chances are reduced. But don't tell me that you're doing this to stop the spread when it can still spread. How sensible Bahamians can be so easily deceived is mind blowing to me. We need a new Bahamas. I want you all to pay attention that the same Fred, Brave, and them initially was fighting against the mandatory vaccination, the vaccination, the whole, etc., etc. And now he went to the UN. You saw what he did at the UN? Did you see his conversations? Did you see how they're begging for more of the vaccine? Wake up, Bahamas. Wake up. So we're going to see you next time. Thank you for tuning in. God bless all of you. We got a country to save, and I want you to realize that change is not coming, change is here. See you next time.